Hey team, welcome back to my channel. The source code for this video is available on my GitHub account. Go to github.com, look for Software Nuggets. Look for the repository PostgreSQL shorts resources. Then look for the file build sample data, click on that, and there's the source code. You got it. Let's create a sample table transaction log that has several fields that will populate using our auto generator. Understanding these examples will help you easily grasp how the sample data creator works. So the first thing we're going to say is select 365 times 5. Well, this right here gives me 5 years worth of randomness. Now the next thing we need to understand is when we have a date. Now, as we see this right here, this is actually a string. It's not a date. I mean, it's a date with our eyes, but in the computer, it's just a string. We have to convert that to a data type. And you can see here, just standard SQL, we can use the cast function, and I'm going to cast this date as a date. Now, in PostgreSQL, they have a shortcut, and they can take a string and cast it to a date as well. Now on lines 21 and 22, you can see that back up here to this 365 times 5, I'm going to get some kind of random number and I'm going to times it by this value. Let's see what happens here. So here you see that we get 339. So whatever this random number generated times 1825, we got this date value. Now you can see I'm going to use that same pattern inside of this larger line, and I'm going to convert this number to an integer times the interval of 1 day. You can see that happen right there. See, as I keep creating that, it just keeps changing. I'm trying to create realistic data for testing, so your select statements aren't always top to bottom in order. Now here you can see that in this program, we're going to start with the date 2020, January the 1st. I'm going to typecast it to a date, and then I'm going to say plus, the addition, this randomness. So when we do this right here, you can see that the date will change. Well, now you understand this, we can get into something a little bit more complicated. Now you've already learned what random does, and now I'm going to say random 4 plus 1. Well, you can see here on line 28, this array object has 4 elements. Now, if I always want the second element, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4. I can always get mobile by placing 2 there. But I don't want to do that. I want to randomly select one of these. Now, that is why we're going to be using this random 4. 4 represents the number of elements in this array. Then I'm going to take this same statement right here. Notice when I click on it, I'm going to just get a random number between 1 and 4, and I'm going to put that at the end of this. So instead of hard coding 2, I'm going to get a random number. So when I plug all that in together, notice you got phone, online, in-store. Does that make sense? All right, excellent. Well, if you understand these lines from 16 to 29, understanding this script I have down here will be quite easy. Let's continue. So we begin with do $. Then I'm going to declare some variables. I, random customer ID, random date, random amount, and random type. Now I'm going to say for I, we declared it as an integer, in 1 ... that's 1 million. And then we're going to loop. Now for every 4, we have an end loop. Random customer ID equals floor random 10,000 plus 1. So this will create a customer number between 1 and 10,000 over a set of 1 million. So we have 10,000 customers. Now we're going to create a random date, and this is pretty much from the same line above. We're just going to get date range between 2020 and 2025 minus 1, right? Excellent. Now we're going to create a random amount, and I'm going to do that between $10 and $5,000. So you can see here, take that random number times 49.90 plus 10. So if this evaluates to 0, we'll always get 10. Hopefully that makes sense. Now we come down here to our arrays. Above, I showed you if I hard code sub 2, I would always get refund, but here I just want it to be random. 6 represents the number of elements in this array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got it. Now we get to our insert statement. I'm going to insert into transaction logs. These are the columns of that table. Remember, our first column, the transaction ID, is a big serial. It will auto be created. So here you can see that I built random customer ID, random date, random amount, random type. Now for the JSONB data type, I'm going to be using JSONB build object. Notice I have source value. So this is key value. And notice I'm going to randomly select one of these 4 items to be assigned to source. For category, I have 3 items, 1, 2, 3, and I'll be using the 3 here to select one of these. On line 66, let's build a key value pair transaction hash. Let's cast the random amount and random date to text, concatenate those 2 fields together, then MD5 hash those combined fields into a unique identifier. On line 67, let's close the parentheses for JSON build object, and then 68, let's close the values parentheses. We are now ready to run this PostgreSQL script to generate 1 million rows of sample data. Highlight all the code for the script as you can see here, and then press the Execute Script button above. With 1 million rows took 33 seconds. I repositioned the line to 14, count star from transaction logs, and notice we get our 1 million rows. And that's the end of this video, team. If you have any questions or comment about this code, please leave a comment below. And you saw that this took the time on my local computer. Let me know how long it took to run on your computer and what kind of computer you have. Look forward to seeing you back in my next video. Take care.